Hofbrauhaus Jägerbier Export Hell.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. This is one from the Hofbrauhaus based in Freising in Bavaria, and it is their Jägerbier, which is an export lager, or export hell as they've called it. And I have tried some of this stuff before, not this particular stuff, but I've tried some of the stuff from this brewery before. And what I've found out about the general standard of beer from this place is that it's not outstanding, but it's immensely drinkable. So if ever you want a session beer, then the stuff from this lot it won't even touch the sides. It's that good. Now, I should really explain that, because you could argue that if it hasn't got the flavour, then what's the point in drinking it? But in the summer, stuff that comes out of this place, they've got their own wheat beer brand, if you like, as well. It's a bit like the Kornbacher Brewery. All their wheat beer is under the Kapuzinger name. They're pretty similar, and I think it's called the Huberweiss is their stuff. And again, it's not an outstanding wheat beer, but it's very, very drinkable. And what do I mean by drinkable? That's a bit of a throwaway term nowadays. When I say drinkable, I mean absolutely no nasties in it. Doesn't really stand out flavour-wise, but it goes down really great. Fantastic mouthfeel, quite pleasant tasting, but the flavours aren't big and bold, if you know what I mean. And sometimes when you're sessioning beer, that is quite a good thing, because rich beer, I find, it does taste very nice, but when you have, say, 4 or 5, that rich flavour can get a little bit too much, whether it be your IPAs, the intensely bitter IPAs from America, whether it be the exceptionally sour Berliner Weiss or Lambics. With the Belgian stuff, sometimes the ethanol can be a little bit too big. And even in some cases with the German stuff, although it's rare, but the malt can just, it can leave you wanting a bit more of a different flavour. But you could argue that for any style of beer. But with this lot, I could easily see myself drinking it all night and it not really being that obtrusive, but it's still got the quality of a good beer. Now, they go back quite a way, believe it or not. They can trace their earliest roots back to 1160 in Freising in Bavaria, but it's only really since 1620 that they really put down their roots, if you know what I mean. But they've been brewing it ever since. They're quite a small brewery, comparatively small anyway, based in Bavaria in Freising, and they're a private brewery. They're independent as far as I know, and they do quite a few beers. As I say, they've got the full range of German beers under this Hofbrauhaus label, but they've also got, as I said, just mentioned, the Huberweiss, which is all their wheat beer range. And I've tried the original lager hell from them. I think I tried some of the Huberweiss stuff, and this is the other stuff. They do a Dunkel and they do a Doppelbock. I haven't got hold of that yet, but I will. But I'm quite looking forward to this. This is an export style beer. Now, most German breweries have their own lager hell, but you will find occasionally that they will do an export beer, an Edel, if you like. Sometimes they call it that. Edelstoff, that's the Augustiner export beer. The export beer tends to be a little bit more intense in flavour and usually a little bit higher in the ABV. So, with that in mind, let's investigate. Right, sadly there's no brew sheet on this beer, so I can't tell you what type of hops, but it's a pretty good assumption that the hops have come from the Hallertau region. What particular style of hops, I don't know, but I imagine it's some type of noble hop. It could well be the Perla or Hercules hop, who knows, but it's of that ilk. There is the EU geographical protected status on the side of the bottle. What else have we got here? It's a 5 litre bottle. 5 litre, I wish. It's a 0.5 litre and it's 5.6% ABV. Of course, it conforms to the Reinheitsgebot, but there is very little information under there. Oh, it's won an award. I think that is one of the... I don't know if autofocus is going to do its job, but I think that is one of the German agricultural awards, and they're quite stringent on their... As you would expect in Germany, they're quite stringent, not astringent, they're stringent on the criteria for that. So if it's won one of them, that is a good sign. So with that in mind, let's get this open. Right. There is the cap. Hofbrauhaus cap. With the, what is that? That is, yeah, that's a depiction of the actual brewery, and I don't know, I think there might be a hotel there as well. I couldn't really, the site's all in German, so I couldn't really make much out of it. And the brew, there's no brew sheet either, so pretty sparse on information. Right, just for, oh, blimey, you can smell that malt from here. That is really sweet. Sweetness coming out of this. That is really, really sweet. And when I say sweet, I mean sweet. It's almost like a sugary style sweetness. I know it's not, because, well, I'm hoping it's not. Now, somebody told me that the Reinheitsgebot can be breached, if you like, when you're brewing export beer, because the theory is that it's going out of the country, so it's not going to be consumed by German nationals, so they can put other stuff in there, which is slightly disconcerting. I know the Holsten export that's brewed over here, that contains glucose syrup, and to be honest, it's not the worst beer in the world, but it ain't great. You can taste that glucose. Wow, this is really sweet, and it's almost like a confectionery style sweetness. I'm trying. There's a little touch of lemon citrus on that, and sourness, but the overwhelming thing is like honey sweetness mixed with malty sweetness, and then a sugar sweetness as well, like confectionery style sweetness. But there it is in a glass. It looks quite nice, slightly darker than your average Hell. Not much, but it is slightly darker. Nice small bubble in the carbonation. 1.5 finger head. I cannot get over that sweetness, but it's intriguing me now. I want to see what this tastes like. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. Wow, very malty. And that, as I said, the sweetness on that was intense, but on the flavour, that's not there. First thing that strikes me, though, very smooth drinking, very smooth mouthfeel, quite light as well. There is a little touch of ethanol on there. It's very subtle, but it's there. I want to point that out because I'm probably not going to get it again, because that's probably going to be swamped by other stuff. There's also a little touch of lemon citrus on there, but there was that fresh bread dough type malt that you get in all the good German beers and Bavarian beers especially. I was expecting a hell of a lot more sweetness on it, but I'm not really getting that. It's quite malt heavy. That's the overriding thing. There is some dry grass, herbal style notes that come through on that, and a little touch of that lemon citrus. But all in all, it reminds me, as a good German export should, of a slightly more intensely flavoured Helles. And it's nice. I do like it. And again, really is sessionable. I just want to keep drinking more and more of it, and I've just realised I lost a bit of my tooth. Brilliant. Fucking hell, my teeth. Jesus, I've had so much grief with my teeth. Poet, and I didn't know it. Recently, I've got a filling that keeps playing up. I've lost a tooth from where I used to open the bottles with my mouth. I would not advise doing that. People used to say to me not to do it. I'm like, nah, fuck off, I'm going to do it. I always carry a bottle opener with me now. Them days are over. But the other tooth next to it is starting to play up now. I've had a filling in it, and I think that filling's coming loose. There you go, the joy. Oh, again, this lot, I don't know what they do with their beer, but it's just so drinkable, and this is no exception, and it's really nice. And this is my first beer of the day, so I'm getting all the flavours from it, and it's just the right temperature. It's been stood out there for 10 minutes, still quite chilled, but it tastes really good, but very sessionable, if you know what I mean. There's no obtrusive flavours, it tastes good, mouthfeel is superb. So yeah, another winner from the Hofbrauhaus. So what's the verdict on their Hofbrauhaus Jägerbier Export Hell? Yeah, it's really nice. Jägerbier, just in case you're wondering, mean Hunter's beer. Don't know what that is, they've just called it Hunter's beer. But the flavours on that are exactly as I would expect in a German export beer. Now, the Helles, as I mentioned, was not really outstanding, but it was really drinkable. The flavours are slightly more present here. There's a little bit of more malt intensity on this. There's a little bit more of the hop character on there. So, yeah, but it's just so drinkable. And that is a characteristic of this lot. And I really do like that with this Hofbrauhaus. Sadly, that's the last one I've got in the fridge. So I might have to give Beers of Europe a little nudge and get me some more. But I really like this one. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely going to recommend it. It's under £3. I know that. I think it's about £2.65. If you can get a deal on buying these in bulk, I really do recommend these if you're going to be having a bit of a session, because they just go down so well, and you can just keep drinking and drinking and drinking, and it's really nice. You know, if it's a cross between this, or a choice between this and a German Pilsner, that bitterness on the German Pilsner, it may start to grate on you after about 5 or something like that. There's nothing in here that would make me want to stop drinking after 5. Maybe my legs would give way before before me taste buds. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10, recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.